And good morning, golfing world. It is Monday Morning Golf Wrap here on TGD. And, of course, being brought to you by the wonderful people at the Myrtle Beach Golf Authority. You can contact Myrtle Beach Golf Authority at myrtle-beachgolf.com, 888-272-7263. If you're taking a vacation here to the Myrtle Beach area, you want to do a golf package or something of that sort, give Myrtle Beach Golf Authority a call. They are wonderful people. You can speak to Kathy or Karen again at 888-272-7263. In the studio with me, of course, as always, HR3, Hugh Roy III. Good morning, Hugh.
Good morning, George. How was your weekend?
Oh, fantastic, dude. I got a win this weekend.
Did you really?
Played the Ice Bowl Challenge down at Indigo Creek.
There you go. And
want to congratulate Mr. Jim Saunders, Mr. Charlie McBride, Adam Larkin, and the Godfather here, able to sink a few putts. I had the Lamont man rolling.
Did you really?
Yeah, we ended up finishing at 14 under par, took the win in the quote-unquote men's division. And with us, joining us on the air today is Larry and Sandy Wilkinson, who was on the mixed division winners.
Well, congratulations to the Wilkinsons.
Larry and Sandy, welcome to the program.
Thank you.
Thank you very much.
So tell us a little bit about how you got involved with the Ice Bowl Challenge, and also fill us in on how you ended up getting the win this weekend.
It was pure luck.
Yeah, we've been coming down here for 20 years from New York, and we just got into this tournament at Indigo Creek, and we just love it every Saturday, and we have a good time.
So do y'all come down for an extended time during the winter, or what do y'all do?
Well, we've been coming here for 20 years, and we actually moved to Conway this year.
Oh.
We're new residents here.
Hugh, they're right in your backyard.
Yeah, they are. They're not far. I live in Carolina Forest, so they're not too far from where Heather and I live.
Not too far away. Sandy, give us a little recap of your round and what led to your win over the weekend.
Well, I was afraid you were going to ask me that. I'm afraid that the only thing I did was putt because the men outdrive me all the time, so they just carry me along so that I can do the putting.
Well, it's like Hugh and I state every show. You drive for show and putt for dough.
And ladies always have a better touch on the greens than the men.
They seem to, don't they?
Yes,
they seem to. Larry, so you were obviously one of the group that was hitting the big ball, but it looked like Sandy was rolling the rock on the flat surfaces there, and I got to compliment Larry, Chuck, and AJ, and the entire crew at Indigo. I found the greens to be spectacular over the weekend.
Oh, yeah, we've got a lot of golf course down here, and the greens on that course is very nice. Absolutely.
Yeah, it's been a rough winter for everybody, but they've seemed to do a good job in keeping those greens they were consistent. They were rolling on line. There wasn't any hopping going on. And we found it to be the way we ended up shooting 14 under par. How did y'all finish, by the way?
We finished 9 under par. We had a bad day.
Well, not bad enough. Obviously, you won.
No, we had a very nice day. We've been golfing with these other two guys for probably 4 years, and we just work really good as a team, and we just really enjoy the people at Indigo Creek also.
Hey, as long as you can get your hand in the kitty, it can't be too bad now, Larry.
No.
That's right.
I got to tell you, and again, compliment Indigo Creek. They do a marvelous job with this Ice Bowl Challenge. In the summertime, it's called the Sun Bowl, and this thing is a open 4-person scramble-type environment. You go out, you pay one fee, which I believe is $35, and
yes.
You get breakfast, you get lunch, you get the scramble, you get raffle tickets, you get some libations, some drinks, you get drink chips, and it's just a lot of fun. I bring my group, my Saturday group there every once in a while, and we just have a blast every time we come. So I want to congratulate you, Larry and Sandy, both for your win, and we hope that you continue listening and viewing us on here, The Golf Director. So.
Well, sure we will, because we enjoy golfing at Indigo Creek, and it's a nice group of people out there.
Well, we enjoy it also, and we love Chuck and AJ and the rest of the crew there at Indigo. So thanks so much for joining us today, and by all means, stay in touch with us and let us know how things are going back up in New York.
Well,
Well, we
live here
moved
now.
here. We're not going to
Oh,
back.
that's right. They're not going back.
Yeah.
Well,
They
let
got
us know
smart.
how things are going in
See,
Conway.
they're like Heather. Heather got out of Pittsburgh finally when she listened to me, and they got
Smart
out of
move.
New York. So smart move, especially
Smart
this
move.
year. So
Smart move.
And we thank you for having us on. That's very nice.
Well, thank you, folks, and we'll look forward to seeing you again down at the Indigo Creek Scramble every Saturday, of course. Starts at 8 a.m., and again, $35. Get your team together and go down there and participate. It's a lot of fun. It's a blast, especially if the Godfather doesn't show up, and, you know, I'm going to win if
well,
I
you
come.
cheat. So that's why.
I cheat? Is that what happens?
Yeah, you cheat. He has a pencil with an eraser. Just remember that.
All right, guys, thanks so much for joining us. Hugh,
Thank you.
what a weekend it was on the tours. Both the Puerto Rican event and the Doral event, I had to sit and watch it, and I go, do these guys really want to win this thing? I mean, JB goes out 4 over par on the final day. Dude, I mean, you know, why
he
doesn't
finished at 3. He finished at 3 over for the day, but you know, he didn't look comfortable the last day. He's been out of it for a little while, but that's the beauty of having a 5-shot lead. You give yourself a chance. He had a chance to win the golf tournament, George. I mean, I got to watch it yesterday.
He had a hell of a chance, you know, but so did Bubba.
Well, Bubba, the way he started and was cruising along there through the front 9, I was like, okay, this is pretty good. And then, you know, he just kind of fell apart on the back 9, didn't do anything. But, you know, yesterday's video day I got to watch. I mean, I had to work all weekend, unlike some other people. So watching yesterday was actually very entertaining.
Yeah, it was. And actually catching it, I worked all day yesterday.
You didn't
Thank
do a
you very
thing.
much.
Yeah, good
Thank
luck.
you very much. Quite busy out at CPC, by the way.
Yeah, well, come over to Possum
Extremely
Trot. Good
busy
luck finding
with
a place
all
to hit
those
balls.
Yeah, with all those college players in town.
Yeah.
It was extremely busy. But JB, she ends up shooting 75, Hugh, and of course finishes second. So he just kind of walked away from the deal on the final day. I mean, of course he shoots 75 after a 62. And so, you know, you're looking at 13 strokes difference between his Thursday round and his Sunday round.
Yeah, you're right. But again, when's the last time we talked about JB Holmes?
Well, that's true. The last couple of weeks, he's been playing very well.
He has,
Very
but
well.
he hasn't had a chance to really win and being, you know, in the situation he was in. So it's a matter of getting back in there, getting used to how hot it gets in the kitchen when you're in there.
Right.
And I think, you know, he never shot himself out of it yesterday, and he had a chance to win. You know,
Well,
Dustin,
he did. He started backing up, and the others were just basically. I mean, you look at Dustin, for example. He shoots 3 under par. Bubba shoots 1 under par for the day. Adam Scott shoots 1 under par. Adam finishes tied 4th with Henrik Stenson at 4 under. And so you look at these, and it wasn't so much that Dustin or Bubba or. You know, Dustin had a great day at 3 under par.
I'm going to tell you this right now, George. After watching that yesterday, he wasn't going to lose. The guy did not do anything to cause himself any distress. He played better than anyone else for 18 holes.
Oh, without a doubt, he was
He's
number
the only
one.
person that broke 70.
Yeah, he was number one that in fairways hit. He was number one in greens and regulation. So he played his way into this win, which was good for Dustin.
I mean, you look at it this way. Michael Sim shot 5 under yesterday.
He was one of
me.
my fantasy players, by the way.
Finished tied for 38.
Professor Weldon, if you're listening in. So
Tied for 38.
I know. But
Dustin
at least
Johnson was right there and made a move and then never lost it. Look at the tee shot he hit on 18 for crying out loud. He flew that thing 320 yards.
320 in the air.
Over into the wind, left to right wind, and over the lake. No sweat. Nobody even sniffed it.
Yeah.
I mean, guy played solid. Got to give him credit. And nice to see.
It was good to see him finish with the flat stick also. The nerves didn't come into play. You could see the nerves on some of the other players, especially in Puerto Rico. Oh, my goodness. That was an explosion of
and no
5
offense,
different players.
No offense. That's the difference between the guys that played in Puerto Rico and the guys that are playing
played
at
the
Doral.
WGC.
That's
Yeah.
why you're in the top 50, and that's why you're not.
Yeah, good point.
So, you know, that's it, it's fun to watch. I agree with you 100%. Congratulations to Sam Saunders for, you know, getting to the playoff, Arnold Palmer's grandson. But Alex Cheka finally wins on the PGA Tour.
You could see that 44 years of experience, maturity, coming into play in that first playoff hole.
Exactly, because, I mean, he makes the putt, and then Sam has an 8-footer to time, and misses.
And Alex actually had that similar putt in regulation, and it just slid a little right on him. And good for him that he plays the hole in the first hole playoff. He actually puts it in the most similar spot that he could, other than going up and placing it, to have that exact putt again.
Oh, exactly.
For the playoff. And he knew how it broke. He knew he needed to play a little bit left. He knew the speed. It was a foregone conclusion that he was going to pretty much make that. That's why when Sam Saunders, who hit a wonderful, wonderful second shot out of the palm trees and almost reached the green, really. Yeah. But one thing that disappointed me, Hugh, the other three that were in the playoffs, and I'll go to those names real quick, and we'll go back to the WGC and wrap this up. What does this mean and all that? But when you look at the playoff between Cheka, Grillo, Petrovic, Curran, and Saunders, you could definitely just see and sense the nerves, especially between Curran and Grillo being in their next to the last group, per se.
Yeah.
And all they had to do was pretty much make pars, and it's just them two in the playoff.
Well, Grillo's got a 2-shot lead with 2 to play.
Yeah. Yeah.
You know,
And
18 holes a par 5, if I'm not mistaken, correct?
Yeah, it is.
Yeah. Why not go iron, and win the golf tournament and say, see you later?
Exactly.
Why do something stupid? I mean, it's called check your ego. But, I mean, you know, going back to what you said about Cheka, yes, it's hard to hit the ball where you want it every single time when you play. But that is the purpose of having a game plan. You've heard me preach about that.
Right, right.
On this show, to all my students over at Possum Trot, the whole 9 yards, it's getting to where you have your game plan and know how you want to play it. And you look at Grillo, he's got a 2-shot lead while he's standing on 18 with a 1-shot lead. By gosh, you're going to struggle to put a driver. You might as well take my driver and throw it in a pond.
Well, he's tied for the lead. He's tied for the lead, and they both got a 1-shot lead, and they come down 18, a par 5. You know, it's playing under par for the week, and you're sitting there, and they're both struggling with their third shots, and then they both make birdie attempts, and, you know, they leave themselves 3 and 4 footers, respectively, and they both miss. They both miss. All they got to do is tap in the 2 to 3 footers, and, you know, they win, especially when Curran misses his putt for par, makes bogey, and Grillo's sitting there below the cup, and all he's got to do is make a 2.5 footer, and he pulls it.
Yeah.
And it catches the lip, and he just can't believe it. Those two, all of a sudden, you go back to Cheka, who had already changed his clothes. He's in his traveling apparel. He's already booked his suitcases, closed them up. Then you go back, and Petrovic was just hanging around the clubhouse, and Sam Saunders had already changed clothes. They had to put their playing clothes back on and then get back and ready for the 5-person playoff. And, you know, I expected it actually to go 2 to 3 holes for the playoff, expecting that at least 2, if not 3, would birdie number 18.
Yeah. Now,
granted, it did start raining, and it got a little windy, but it wasn't blustery like we know Puerto Rico to be. But it kind of quit raining when they got up around the green. And as I mentioned, Sam Saunders hit that wonderful second shot up to the front right side of the green. But I was thinking, I thought of you, as I often do when I'm watching the coverage, and the slow side of the green was the opposite side of the pin with Sam Saunders.
Mm-hmm. You're into the green.
How does he not get his eagle putt, his shot, which he used a putter just off the fringe, how does he not get that to the hole and at least leave him a 2 or 3 footer on the other side? You see my point?
I get your point, and I understand that, and I'm going to give him a little bit of a reprieve from that because of the fact he's not ever been in that situation on the tour.
Okay.
And nationwide web.com now, you know, I can see where, okay, I've been out there a couple of years. I can handle this. This is the PGA Tour. I mean, it's a little different situation. And I think, you know, he'll learn from this. And I think his grandfather will help him understand the nerves and what he was going through a little better. Now, if somebody like Cheka or Tim Petrovic does something like that, that's inexcusable because they're veterans. But, you know, look, he gave himself an 8-footer, and he still had a chance to tie to go back into more of a playoff, and he just missed. So
well, he put a good stroke on
Sure.
the birdie putt, but it was huge that Cheka had that comfort level in the playoff hole for his putt, and then after he drains it, you could sense the pressure back on Saunders. Now I have to make.
There's no
now
question.
I have to make.
You have no choice. You make
Yeah.
you either make it or you go home.
Yeah.
So yeah, pressure, absolutely.
Yeah.
I mean, in the vice.
But to leave yourself an 8-footer, again, he is coming across the crest of the green there. He's coming downhill. It's going to break a little left. But the slow side, am I saying that right?
It's
what I'm
it's
referring
into
to.
the grain.
Yeah.
You've got to read the grain. You have to understand, and that's the whole part of your preparation.
That's my point. His miss with his eagle putt
was in the right place.
He
could be fairly aggressive, is what you're saying.
I'm wondering, he should have been more aggressive with his eagle putt. If he finishes below the cup 2 to 3 feet, it's straight back into the cup.
Yeah.
It's a straight putt.
Yeah.
But he leaves himself short 8 feet, and then it's going to break a little left to right. And, of course, he hit a good putt. It just leaked out right more than he anticipated, and he just barely missed the putt.
And those greens
And
are fairly
Alex Cheka.
grainy. I mean, you watch them throughout the week; they were fairly grainy. So, as your ball slows, it's going to move with that grain. So, it's just it's experience, George. That's the only way to put it.
Yeah.
The young man that's just first year on tour. Give him a break. He got to finish second in a PGA Tour
Yeah.
event. He's going to keep his card.
Yeah.
Let him learn. Let
Yeah.
Mr. Palmer sit him down and say, "Okay, Sam, look, bud." And he's probably, he's playing this week or 2 weeks. He's probably playing this week in Tampa. And
Yeah, he's playing this week at
and he'll play
Copperhead.
2 weeks
Yeah.
in Bay Hill. So,
Yeah.
I'm sure Mr. Palmer will give him an exemption. He's earned it.
Oh, yeah.
It's not because of my grandfather's tournament, his golf course. I earned it.
Well, congratulations, Alex Cheka. We've seen this 44-year-old
Good guy, too.
basically fall off the earth, lose his tour card, have to go back to the web.com tour, had to work his way back up through the ranks, and now he picks up a significant win on the PGA Tour. His first, by the way, on the PGA Tour.
On the U.S. Tour, yes.
Yeah, on the U.S. PGA Tour. And so now he reserves his tour card. He gets to go to Augusta. So, there are several things there.
Does Puerto Rico get to go to Augusta?
I believe so. Yeah,
Then they've changed it.
I believe
They
so.
used to not. It was almost like, the way Mississippi used to be when they played there during Augusta.
I believe so, but I may be wrong.
I don't know. I'm not sure either. We'll figure that
But
out.
again, it boils down to this 5-person playoff where in WGC at Doral, and by the way, hats off to the people, Donald Trump, all of the greenskeepers, the superintendent, hats off because Doral played like a major golf course. Spectacular shape. Is it too hard, Hugh? Heck no. It just did. Again, Doral is rising to the top as far as cream on the PGA Tour, as far as venues and as far as tournament sites. The boys have to play golf. And they can't, it's not like they've got one tough hole and then 5 easy ones. You got to play golf on every hole out there.
And George, honestly, I other than the 8th green that I saw this week at Doral, the golf course itself, the changes and what Mr. Trump's done there is pretty amazing. But that golf course, I don't care if he made the changes, he and Mr. Weiskopf made the changes or not. That golf course has always been hard, and it always will be. That wind gets to blowing around that joint the wrong way on certain holes.
But
It's
dude,
tough.
look at the Blue Monster, number 18. You sit and watch the DJs. Even JB Holmes hit a great drive yesterday. Hit the peeler out there. He took it over right at the finger of the pond, and he peeled it over there. The commentary had, JB, well, if he ends up in the palm trees right, it's a good shot. Well, no, he didn't even get close to the palm trees. He left it short right of the bunker and left himself 185 yards in. And like you mentioned, DJ Dustin Johnson takes it out over the water and just rips 320 down the middle.
In the air.
In the air, fly. And I sat there and went, Wow. Okay. Now, what is he going to do with the next one? He actually hits his approach shot a little bit strong. It hits pin high and then releases to the back edge of the green in the first cut. So he's putting from there 40 feet. And but he put a good stroke on it, and JB did also. JB left himself 35.
I thought he made
and
it. He hit a heck of a putt. That putt
Yeah.
used to break a lot towards the water, and with the changes, they've kind of leveled it, and I guess maybe put a ridge in there or something
it
because
moved right.
back to the right.
Yeah, it moved right.
But I mean that green, you saw a lot of bad golf shots into that green because it is that intimidating.
Well, you did, and again, you're coming in from a farther distance back, and these greens, it's still, even though it was overcast and they had some intermediate rains and things of that sort, the greens still played quite firm, being newer greens.
Oh, absolutely they did.
They
yes.
weren't as firm as last year, but they did play firm than what these guys are mostly used to.
And you saw, the guys that do spin the ball more, you saw them doing that. And guys that didn't spin the ball would either hit and stop or it would run out. And, I think it was a great test. I think, what Mr. Trump tried to achieve there, he got.
Fantastic. I enjoyed it. What about Saturday, dude? Hole 4. Within 30 minutes, we end up with 2 hole-in-ones. Dustin Johnson, of
And
course,
then
makes a
JB.
hole-in-one,
Yeah.
and then JB. And it just so happens that those two are coming down the stretch together.
It was pretty cool. I mean, and then they show it, and then there's the whole Quicken Loan thing. Well, 2 people are going to, they're going to get their mortgage paid for a year. But to see guys within 30 minutes make hole-in-ones on a golf hole, folks, it's not number 15. It's number 4. It's
204 yards.
I was going to say it's a 4 or 5 iron shot, and it's not
and
easy.
they both played 7 irons.
And the pin was on the right.
Yeah. And they both hit 7 irons. The trajectory, shot length was being used, and the trajectory of both balls, it was amazing. One came in from a little bit further left to right. The other one kind of drew it in, but they both hit almost in the same ball mark.
Yes.
And then released to the cup, and both of them center cut, Drano, didn't need the pin. They would have both fall in if the pin hadn't have been there.
Mm-hmm.
And within 25 minutes, really, we've got 2 hole-in-ones, and it was just, I thought it was just entertaining, just spectacular. These guys are good stuff.
Well, it's like they said yesterday on the coverage, this is the one time you're sitting here watching, the Blue Monster and Doral, and it wasn't boredom. It wasn't. It was excitement to it. There were birdies, there were eagles, there were bad shots, good shots. Rory throwing his 3-iron in the water, and then Mr. Trump sending the scuba diver out there and getting it. Now it's on display in the clubhouse. I mean, this tournament was extremely entertaining from that standpoint. And with that being said, we talked about it in one of our previous shows when he came back. And hats off to Dustin Johnson, because I tell you what, it sounds like this young man has turned his life around.
I hope so.
And
I really do.
Really, seeing the baby, seeing his mannerisms and how he handled things, his brother, right along. It just, I agree with you. I hope so. I think he has, and it's nice to see, and hats off to him for coming back and doing this, because it was a pretty incredible win.
After his putt on 17, when he teed off on 18 and you saw him coming off the tee box, he was giving himself a little fist pump.
Yeah.
And that spoke volumes. It really did. He was in the moment. He was in the tournament. He knew that if he laces this thing out there, he puts it on the back right part of the green, he 2-putts, he wins this tournament. And I think the DJ of old wouldn't have gone through that thought process.
Yeah, I think his whole nobody knows what, how, or where he went and what he did and how he did this. Obviously, I think personally that Mr. Gretzky got involved in this and started talking to him about it being from a superstar and
well, he's 30 years old now.
It's time to grow up, Junior.
He's been through 2. He went through the 3-month quote unquote removal from the tour by himself, and then the 6-month removal from the tour by supposedly by himself. And now he's back here. He's won for the 8th consecutive year in a row.
Longest winning streak, active winning streak. Mm-hmm.
So
and it was interesting to hear, Commissioner Fincham.
Do you move DJ? Do you move DJ now at those top 5, 6 considerations for the first major, of course, being Augusta?
I don't think there's any question.
Yeah.
Watching him stroke his putter, I mean, he said, I haven't made a lot this week, but you watch him with his stroke and the way the ball rolled. Yes.
Good.
Yes.
Good. Again, Dustin Johnson wins the WGC Cadillac Championship at Doral at 9 under par. J.B. Holmes finishes second at 8 under. Bubba Watson finishes 7 under, finishes third, shoots 71 on the final day. Bubba had a 2-shot lead at one time in this tournament and then saw things go awry on the back 9. Again, I heard Dave Walker mention this earlier. Bubba at times just probably needs to put that pink driver back in the bag and just start managing his way around a golf course instead of just rip it and rip it. Okay, that's his mentality. He doesn't know any different. So, but at times I think he should go back to the course manager. He got on such a roll on the front and moved himself into a 2-shot lead, and now he could basically take Doral, even though it's 7,000 yards, and manage it with a 3-iron.
Yeah.
He could.
Yeah, absolutely.
In theory. So, but he didn't do that, and of course he ends up falling back. A good showing for Adam Scott, again, coming back, first event back in the 2015 season. So good for him. Adam, of course, recent baby, and so things are going real well for him. I see Adam to continue his good play at Bay Hill, and then, of course, going into the Masters. Henrik Stenson, he hit some 3-woods, Hugh, that I knew he was long with that 3-wood, but he's super long now.
Oh, it's George. I tell you what, and watching some of the practice, and seeing him with the bent club trying to create the shaft lean and stuff. Yeah, it's pretty neat. But I tell you what, you look at that leaderboard, it was awful impressive with the new talent that's out there.
Louis Oosthuizen at 3 under, Webb Simpson at 2 under, Bill Haas came out of nowhere with a 65 on Saturday.
How about the shot he hit on 18 on Sunday?
I know.
From number 1.
Yeah.
He was should have been in the bunker on 1 and hits it in there 10 feet.
Yeah.
I mean, just
spectacular.
Awesome.
And again, he comes out of nowhere on Saturday, and all of a sudden now he's up on the first page of the leaderboard. Kevin Na has a good tournament. He finishes with a 71, 1 under par. And of course, we mentioned Roy McIlroy. He kind of goes out there and shoots around even par each day. He finishes at 1-1. Ryan Moore, who really made a move at this tournament both Thursday and Friday at 66, 71, ends up Saturday and Sunday shooting 74, 76. So he was on a slippery slope there as far as going backwards. Danny Willett has a good tournament. He shoots 4 under on Sunday. Jim Furyk, your boy, shoots 69 on Sunday to finish at even par or 3 under for the day, even par for the tournament. So congratulations to Furyk. Again, Ricky Fowler started off good at 68, but just kind of blew everything up on Friday. 77 on Friday kind of took him out of the running. But again, he finishes tied for 12th. Another tournament went on this weekend, Hugh, and I enjoyed tremendously just because of the characters, the golfers that were in the hunt for this thing coming down the stretch. And that was the LPGA Tour, of course. And again, we had one of those events on the LPGA Tour where it was anybody's game except for one player. So they were all battling for second and pretty much figured that they weren't going to catch one in B Park.
I tell you what, the lady, what was it, 69 holes or something she played without a bogey?
Yeah, I heard that stat. I'm going, that's really, really phenomenal.
That's unheard of.
That's phenomenal.
I mean, that is just managing your golf ball, your game, your emotions, everything.
She was on 2 of the par 4s there, Hugh. They had parallel bunkers left and right, literally 16 to 18-yard wide fairways, slivers of fairways. And you were watching some of the players, such as Stacey Lewis, Azera Munoz, some of the other players that were teeing off with 3-woods just to make sure that they didn't get into those bunkers. Not her. She's ripping that driver out and just center cutting it every time. And so I'm watching her swing, and I'm going, nobody's going to catch her.
Well, let me ask you this, though. When NB Park swings, I don't care how people want to make fun of, how she does things or whatever. Does it ever look a different speed?
No.
You notice how the tempo and the pace of it is the same no matter what club is in her hand?
Her stopping point of the backswing, her aggressiveness through the ball, there's never any more There's never any less.
And it doesn't matter if she's hitting a 3/4 shot or a full shot.
Exactly.
They all look the same.
Identical tempo.
I mean, that's just
Identical.
and that's why you can do what she did.
And she rolls a rock. I mean, she's one of the better putters out there.
Oh,
There's
yes.
no doubt about it.
I agree.
But again, we watched MB Park. Basically, although she only wins by 2, it wasn't that close. Now, Lydia Ko, again, here's this young phenom, 17 years old. Again, she's back up. She's number 1 player in the world.
Yeah.
And she proves it now week after week after week.
Yeah, well, she goes and wins in Australia, then she wins over in New Zealand, and then she comes here and plays the way she does. I mean, the young lady has got some serious games. She's obviously number 1 in the world, and she's proving the reason why.
Yep.
But, NB Park, like you said, she was not going to be beat this past weekend.
No, she wasn't. You could almost sense it. I mean, if she has that autopilot switch,
Yes.
she flips it. Mm-hmm. And, she turns into, I'm going to play the course. I'm playing against the course. I don't care what the rest of you do.
Y'all come catch me.
Yeah, I'm just going to play the golf course.
That's exactly
And
right.
her scores dictate that. She shoots 66 on the first round. That really started separating her from the field. Then 69, 68, 70 on the final day to finish at 15 under. She wins $210,000. Lydia Ko, 68 first day, 2 shots back, 70, 67, 70. Again, 13 under, 2 shots back, but my gosh, it's so fun to watch her play.
It just shows
It's
you
impressive.
how to play golf.
Yeah. Oh, good
It
point.
just shows you how to play. I mean, you watch these girls.
I don't care if you're a man, woman, whatever, what handicap level you are.
And we've beat this like a dead horse, but I'm telling you right now, folks, if you don't watch the LPGA play golf, you're crazy, because it will help you learn to play the game.
Yeah.
It
Good point.
really, really will.
Good point. Well said. Stacey Lewis finishes 3rd at 11 under. And Shan Fang, who is having another good year for Shan. She's having a good year. She shoots 10 under par, tied with Azera Munoz. We got a sighting.
I kept waiting. You kept mentioning her name. I kept waiting on it, Jeff, but he wouldn't ever, he wouldn't go there. I was pretty proud of him.
Well, it was good to see her there. She's always smiling and bubbly and got a great personality, and she's so well liked on the tour. And just we see her in commercials now. So the marketability of her look and her game now is being promoted greatly by the LPGA. I'm happy for her. I think it's wonderful. She finishes tied for 4th, along with So Young Yu. And there was several others. Anna Norquist was actually in this event at one time. She was making a move. Carlotta Sagana, she came out of nowhere, and all of a sudden she's up on the first page of the leaderboard. And what a good player she is. I really haven't paid much attention to her, but really, really good player. I enjoyed watching her. She finishes with 71, finishes 8 under par, but she shot 69, 66 in the first 2 rounds.
Wow.
So pretty impressive play there. Suzanne Patterson finishes tied 12th. Just mentioning some of the names that we commonly see up there on top of the leaderboards now. Lexi Thompson finishes at 7 under, tied for 12th. So Mo Martin, again, another good event for her. She picks up a nice check. She'll at least pay the expenses at $20,000. So now, Hugh, also going on, of course, the European Tour. And it was kind of one of those ho-hum events, if you know what I mean.
Yes.
But I always enjoy watching it, and it's always fun. Now, this week, they're coming back, and they're going back down to the lower elevations there in Joburg, right? Is that right?
Joburg is not. Joburg goes. No, if you go down to the coast, it's lower elevation.
Yeah,
if you go to
that's-
Joburg, it's up.
No, but I'm saying they're leaving Joburg and headed back down to the coast this week.
Yes.
So they were talking this morning about some of them flew, some of them drove, this, that, and the other, but it's going to be totally different golf this week for them on the European Tour than they've seen with the elevation, and now they're going back down to sea level, and so it'll be a different game.
Yeah,
for
they
them.
get to sea level. The humidity and all is a lot different. You're in Joburg. I mean, it's like playing in Denver. I mean, it's pretty similar.
Well, the PGA Tour is headed up to Tampa, and they're playing, of course, the Copperhead course.
At Innisbrook.
Yeah, Innisbrook, and tight, older design fairways.
Great golf
A lot of
course.
trees.
And got some length to it. and just it's a very good test of golf.
Well, it's going to be one that you're not going to see all the marquee names there because I think some of them, a lot of them, will be taken this week and then get ready for Bay Hill.
Yeah, they will. You'll see a lot of you'll still see some pretty good players. I mean, I would imagine you'll still see Jim Furyk there and some of those names. Some of your upper echelon players will take, like you said, will take this week off and get a break and get ready to go to Doral and then, leading up.
Get ready to go to Bay Hill.
Bay Hill, sorry.
Yeah.
I had a bad moment.
No.
But yeah, go to Bay Hill. And so this is kind of be their week off. You saw a lot of that kind of this past week. The guys that weren't into Doral, you had a lot of guys go down to Puerto Rico. A lot of guys took this week off, this past week. So you'll see them this week in Tampa at Innisbrook.
And again, you go to Bay Hill, then you jump out to Texas, and then Augusta. So, and again, coming up on the Golf Director, we've got Month of the Masters starting up, and we'll be doing that I believe, later this week.
Okay.
And so we got a lot to talk about, and you know me, dude. It's getting there. The clock is ticking.
Yeah, I agree.
The coverage of the majors here on thegolfdirector.com. Don't miss it. We're going to have some spectacular events coming up for all 4 of the major championships on the PGA Tour, and we want you to be a part of that. And that also includes the Open Championship, the British Open. So one of our favorites, isn't it? So without a doubt, and again, this year at basically the birthplace of golf, St. Andrews. So I want to thank Myrtle Beach Golf Authority for bringing you the Monday Morning Golf Wrap here with Hugh and George. I want to thank those lovely people. Again, you can get in touch with them at myrtle-beachgolf.com, 888-272-7263. TGD Radio and TV are produced and broadcast by the Zeus Radio Network for thegolfdirector.com. When visiting the Golf Director, be sure to check out our featured course pages where you'll find up-to-date information about course conditions, specials, and much more. Hey, need help with your next golf vacation? Just call Dave. Hashtag just call Dave at 844-464-6531. That's 844-GO-GOLF1. All of our TGD programming is archived for listening and viewing on demand. To catch up on any show you may have missed, click the TGD Radio or the TGD TV tabs in the menu screen at thegolfdirector.com. We're now available on over 1 billion devices on iTunes, Audio Realm, TuneIn, YouTube, Ustream, Roku, Blueberry, and Myrtle Beach Golf App. For Hugh Roy III, I'm George Honeycutt, and on behalf of Jeff behind the glass, we want to thank you for tuning in, and there's more golf news and information coming up next.